without the prior, all the different things that we prepare for that broadcast. And apparently, we are just coming on live in YouTube too. So people, nice, nice. Let me see. Maybe this way is a little bit better. Yeah, I guess. All right, people from internet, people from YouTube, people from Instagram. We are here opening the new session. Waiting for some of the people to connect. We have Yandres. Hello, Yandres. I don't know your name. Can you please put your name because I know your online name, Yandres Ceja, but if you were a person that I knew before for some reason, please put your name because I would not really know by your online name. Hello, hello, how are you? Okay, now, Jan Ceja, if you have any question, you got the chat. That's basically how it works. This is a Q&A. We're supposed to try answering any questions that you guys have prepared for us. Editi, hello, Editi. I don't know who Editi is, but hello, thank you for being here. Good, people are coming around. Awesome. So, what's the purpose of this session? As we were just explaining at the beginning, is to try helping people in some way, somehow, with answers to questions that you have, and you probably never have the chance of asking around. Just not necessarily by giving you a solution per se of a problem, but to maybe help you think about how to approach a problem. That helps because, as two heads think better than one. So a good question will definitely generate a great answer. Let's see. I'm waiting for any question. Espinosa. Nice, Mr. Espinosa. Hello, sir. How are you? All right. Okay, Espinosa, let's begin, my friend. You go with the first question. All right. Whatever question you have, remember, any question is valid. Here, the idea is that you are, let's say, I will try to answer as honest as I can do, of course. Oh, as long as it is a benign question, not a question that's gonna put me in a situation that, guys, I would not be able to answer correctly. So that's it. Let's see. Any question goes. Remember what I said before. The idea is that two heads think better than one. It could be something academic. It could be something of the real day-to-day life, things that you have issues to understand, follow, comprehend, or maybe situations that are even more complex. Like, again, you don't dare asking any person around because you think that it might be silly. Diego Aguirre, Diego, Diego is on Instagram. Diego, well, whomever is here apart from Mr. Espinosa, Mr. Aguirre, any question that you have, let's begin with that one. Okay. Remember, this is the Q&A. Let's see who has the first question. Diego, Jose, Edity, anyone waiting? In the meantime, I must say that the event today was great. Hey, Mr. Diego. Hi, Diego. Yeah, please, hey, Diego, come on. Give me one question, Diego. Whatever you have in mind. Let's begin with that one. It doesn't matter if it's weird, as long as it is benign. All right. So let's see. Come on. Any question will be really, really cool. Uh, so Mr. Espinosa and Mr. Diego. In the meantime, I was gonna say that what you guys did today was incredible. So congratulations to all the effort that you put into that. Knowing that you didn't have much time to prepare, I'm really glad that you guys did that. That was awesome. Anyway, Diego was the first person here. I have a question. What has been your favorite costume you have worn? Well, to be honest, I have not worn many costumes in life, in reality. However, I did spend a time working in not working as a hobby, volunteering in theater, and so of course I did play some costumes. I played the devil, of course. Who's never played the devil? I played mimes. I played different type of mimes. I played king once. I played um, uh, one of the magic kings from the Jesus legend, the Jesus Christ legend. You know, the three magicians that went to see his birth. And I think that the best costume I ever worn was one that was really, really young. Most honestly, if it wasn't for you, Diego, I would have never remember about this. It was a pirate costume. Now that I think about this, it was a pirate costume, and I had like dancing flip flops. It was great because I had to basically be jumping on the tip of my toes. Interesting. Diego, thank you. All right, we began with an interesting, crazy question. We have Edity. I'm Steve. Oh, thank you, Steve. All right, we are watching the stream with Sadhu. Sadhu, say hello and a big hug to my friend Sadhu. That was awesome. Diogo, what, Mr. Diogo? I hope that you understand completely everything that I'm saying now. That would be awesome. And the same as Johan Sandoval. What, Johan? It's incredible. Okay, guys, we have quite a crowd here. I would like to hear, see any question that you guys have about whatever you want to ask. Um, definitely going to go for it. Completing on the question of Diego before, I said that it was a pirate costume, but I didn't really describe how it was. It was a strange shirt blouse, you know, the typical pirate shirt blouses. I had the eye patch. I had some fluffy sweatpants that didn't really make it to the full leg. It was just up to my shins. And then these strange flip flops. It was very, very interesting. Eddie, what is my opinion of Hitler? Sad. Oh my God, Hitler. Hitler has been a real representation of how you politicize evil, because we cannot really deny that he was a really evil person, but there has been in history, there has been so many evil people that is weird that Hitler is the one that people just think of every time that there is the mentioning of something evil, someone evil. um Purely on numbers, you could find in history that there were other leaders that maybe may have killed as many people as Hitler did. The problem is that the type of people that were among the people that he killed were the ones that definitely control the ways in which media tend to be known. And of course, for that reason, everybody knows who Hitler is and how badly he did. So yeah, I don't approve in any way any sort of action that Hitler did whatsoever. I think it's just reproachable to try to dominate people by just forcing arm. You call that, the expression is called strong arming yourself through whatever, and that's not good. All right. Uh, Now, the next one, the real Sadhu says that's Steve. I don't know what you guys are saying. Teacher, think about it. About what? When director. Oh, thank you. Yeah, but what's the question? You guys have to come around with a question. Think about what? About Hitler? I just mentioned about what I think of what he did, and what he did was terrible. Everybody knows. However, more than just thinking about how badly he did, I think about the consequences of what he did. And if you see, if you see some of the things that he did and the consequences up to today, everything is pretty much the same. Germany still is the biggest head in Europe, in Western Europe. Um, Besides England, and England is not in part of Europe anymore, so it's Germany. And as that happens, that was similar to what it was back then, and everybody is fighting against the Russians like back then. So I don't know exactly if what he did produced basically the conditions of what we have now. If that's the case, then he did something awful. I'm not really a historian. I can only consider the things that we all know. From there, making some conjectures as any other, um, let's say, minimally or humbly guesser will do. So let's see. Anyone has another question? Okay, well, how about this, guys? What has been your experience in this year, especially all these people that are now seniors, are about to graduate? What are your feelings? Too much anxiety, I guess. What are you looking forward to, especially in that year right after you finish? What you want to do? I would like to see some comments. Ask me about that because I actually live uh, quite a lot of different experiences back then. In my own experience when I graduated from high school and went to university was peculiar, as yours will be for sure. I got Diogo here. Diogo says, Profe, ¿qué piensas sobre la universidad en Canadá? Oh, right. Well, questions in English, please. But Canada has great, you call that college cities, okay? Places that are known because they have lots of good universities in the same town. And for that reason, there is obviously like a good, let's say, there has some sort of a good level in the overall sense, as many of these universities are recognized. Obviously they all compete, and as they do, that makes what they offer better than maybe other different places. But in reality, to be honest, completely, Diogo, it all depends on what you want, because at the end, in every university you will pretty much receive the same information depending on your the interest that you have on the subject that you want to graduate one day of. Of course, there are specialties in everything. And there are universities specializes in, let's say, robotics, and obviously you're not gonna pretend to get a good degree in robotics in a place that in which that area is not the best one. So, of course, in that sense, researching will tell you the rankings that this particular university will have, and that will be a good way for you to choose what university to study. Now, if you have the um, let's say the conditions, the good conditions, the promise of going to Canada to live in a particular place in which there are good universities there, know for sure that you will do just great, as long as you have the best input. And of course, as long as you put the most of your effort in trying to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. um, Obviously Canada is huge in many different areas that maybe are not offered in some universities here in Ecuador. Universities in Ecuador, however, are not necessarily badly seen internationally, so you got that chance too. Okay, let's see another person. Sadhu, tell me what you've been doing lately. Where are you studying? I would like to know. And the same situation with Diogo, where you guys are studying. Now, when I was in college, no, sorry. I said my senior year. When I was in my senior year in high school, it was for me a little bit challenging because I really didn't have any good prospect for university. I remember that at that time I went through a program that they have at the university that I ended up studying. That was basically for counseling and Miguel, hello sir. Well, this is the Q&A. Whatever question you have for us, shoot, my friend. Thank you. Okay, so I was telling the story about university. I didn't have any particular prospect about what to study in reality. So they have this program in this university that I ended up studying. That was all about academic counseling for basically college time. So basically, what they were a series of of psychology students from that university that in I guess it was their senior year, they needed to do counseling. Hello, Miguel. I hope you're doing fine, my friend. And in that time, I received this counseling by this young psychologist that was basically, having conversations related to what I wanted to, what did I think was my best skills, etc., etc. And I remember that I constantly just pushed one idea that it was the only thing that I probably would have a good chance, that was psychology, that I never studied. And she said, yeah, yeah, if you think it's the best thing that you want to study, well, go for it. And that was all. That was all the counseling I got. But it helped me, though. It helped me think about a lot of different things. And definitely thinking is important, people. Never do any action, never take any action without having a good deal of thinking before. Because it's your life. You better get the best out of it. I got another Diogo. Diogo, profe. No, that's the previous one. Mister, what do you think about incest? Hmm, incest. All right. I know that incest is a topic that tends to be really funny when it comes to certain areas of the anime community because it's like a little gag based on the lollies and the lollicoms and the lolly bros. And it's a really annoying, really annoying gag. There is a famous series that's called Madoka. Don't remember exactly in which that there the young sister, a young promising magician, uh, use her powers of I think it was ice to dominate her school because it was school of magic. They were basically in high school with magic, etc., etc. And she was a good promise, and she was coming from a big family, but apparently she had this brother that came from the same family, from a different mom, and this guy was an overpowered dude, but apparently he was at the same time being overpowered. He was like the underdog. So the whole series is proving him that though he was the underdog, he can beat everyone that he wants to. And his sister, that is the biggest promise of the academy and the most beautiful girl, only has eyes for him. So yeah, there goes the gag of the lolly incest thing. Now, in real life, there has been moments in which in history there have been incest, and most of the cases it never really finished as a good thing. In fact, not only the social pressure that the kids that were involved in the incestual relationship had to suffer, but apart from that, the physical, emotional consequences, especially when they were kids afterwards, were terrible because, as you know, you got the issue of pathogens. A human being, a human body has pathogens, and the more different your genetic code is when combining with another person, the more you ensure that those pathogens are not passed on, and of course, you have the possibility to get the best offspring possible, meaning a good, healthy baby. But if you replicate the same pathogens that you already have, meaning you have a child with a brother, sister, obviously you are making double options for this baby to carry the problems that you have, and that's a chimera. That's not good. Normally produces mutations, crazy types of diseases. For example, there was the case, historically speaking, probably apparently it was proven that hemophilia was produced due to these type of relationships, ancestral relationships, and heavy. That's a heavy one. But again, historically speaking, there have been cases. You have the some kings of Europe, many in fact. Oof, all of the kings of England, for instance, apparently had a lot of different situations going through ancestral relationships. Then you had in Egypt. Actually, I guess that the Europe copied from Egypt that tendency, and of course, Egypt copied that from, sorry, Egypt, no, the Romans copied that from Egypt. So of course, the Romans being the door to Europe. That's what you have. Not necessarily the best thing. In the Americas, there have been evidence of some cases, but again, it's normally not well seen because of what I just mentioned. The offsprings of couples that are too close have in the most problems. Mr. Raul, another one of the loyal ones. Raul, I'm waiting for your question. Make a good one, a good question. All right. Let's see if we have another type of question. Steve is bandido. When oh my God. Diogo says, Profe, ¿qué piensa de la Universidad de Canadá? Again, is that the same question? Uh, who is this one? Okay, any other person? Question? Let's see what you guys have. For me, as questions, let me see. Okay, in the meantime, I was telling you the story of my college experience the first year. I told you before that I didn't have any idea. I went to counseling. And even though I went to counseling, I did not really do anything in the very first year. Actually, I didn't study my very first year coming out of high school to a college. I worked in a first company. I was selling purses, and after that, I was working as an office boy for computing devices shop and company. So I did a little bit of many different things, and but I didn't study during my first year. I took some courses. I remember I took a course of math that I never really got at the best advantage of because apparently it is a thing on my head with math. I got Raul. Raul has a question. The question is, who's your hero? Well, it all depends. I got too many different heroes. I could say that a great hero, personal hero that I got today is my wife. My wife is an incredible person when it comes to doing the things that she does. She's capable of. I always said that. Some people say, "Oh, Mister, you're a good English teacher." Nah, not as good as my wife. Definitely not. The things that she knows are things that she knows, and the way that she puts an effort to. Oh my God! Someone that has that input and output, that level, is a hero to me. Now I got all the different type of heroes. When it comes to, for example, sports, there is this guy. I think his name is Scott Goggins. Scott Goggins, dude, check him out. He is a multiple ultra marathonist. That's what he does. And as he's an ultra marathonist, imagine what he does is inhuman. It's just crazy. running over 200 miles, a race of 200 miles. It's like, what? It's just crazy. There are days and days of running. And I remember when I saw the interview that he did long ago in a famous YouTube podcast that was the Joe Rogan Experience. He mentioned that in his first race he fractured every bone of his feet, and he competed or almost did to the very last thing of the race, and that was just crazy. To be honest, a person does not need to prove themselves that much. I mean, running 200 miles, that's too much. That's just too much, especially when it is a race mode. And we all know that physically speaking, our bodies suffer heavily in every type of competition. To be honest, competitions do not really grant good, healthy bodies for the long run. Good, healthy bodies is steady exercising. If you guys want to have healthy bodies to look young, even though you're old, you need to steady exercise. But competing is basically when you prove your the highest of your capacities, and that's great from time to time. But know that heavy competition is gonna take a toll in your body, no matter what. And you can see that there's some certain type of retired athletes that till now they suffer quite a lot of the consequences of the heavy competition that they did. Most football players don't walk well. You don't see them walking well. When they were really good football players, and obviously I'm exaggerating, but come on, think about that. All the type of injuries that these people can have for them is heavy. Same as basketball players, the type of injuries they had is heavy for them. Eh, Especially in that high level competition. Now, if you have the capacity of competing high level for a short time and it's not a bad thing, why not? Do it. That would be cool. Miss Villa, what? Hello, Miss Villavicencio. How are you? How's it going? Great that we have her. We'll have a first lady in the among the people that want to, you know, venture themselves with a question. So please ask a question whenever you want to. That's the rule of today. Well, not the rule, sorry. That's the deal of today. Question from the public, and let's see what I can try helping you with. Let's see. Do I have any question here in YouTube? No, no question. Anyone, please come on, shoot the question whenever you can. Continuing on the story of my first year. What's the name of a cat? Uh, well, his name originally was Silent, but lately he's not silent at all. He's he's noisy, especially when he's hungry. Lately, he's shown that he has a temper, and when he's hungry, he shows it. Look, right now, he's like my best companion. All right. For the people of YouTube, let me show. Oh, sorry, people of YouTube. There it is. So he's my best companion, but in a while, he's gonna be basically demanding for food. And in that moment, he's not silent at all. So my wife cut the name to Sai, and that stuck. So that's his name now, Sai. Yes, we do. We have a YouTube channel, my friend. The name of the channel is similar as you see is A-lètheia. Check us out. We are obviously this video at the end. We will edit it and put it on one of the public playlists that we have there in YouTube, so people can check it out later on and see basically what we do. We are not necessarily, the biggest channel, but we are simply just having fun. and trying to help as many people as we can in sessions like the ones that we're doing tonight, because that's the whole purpose of A-lètheia. We are a consultancy agency that is dedicated to help people that normally have, you know, issues with the language. Most of the people that know me have basically, the ones that are here, have been for some reason supported by me, or my even my wife, in one way or another, through language experience the issues. And yeah, why not? If we think we can help you guys with this, then awesome. Oh, you're following us. Thank you, Daniela. But please ask us a question. All right, let's see. We got Raul. What's your life philosophy? Hmm, that's a heavy question. Okay, no, that's not surprising from Mr. Raul. Not bad, Mr. Okay, life philosophy. That's a heavy one. There are there have been different instances in my life in which I had to rethink about my position of what to do with my life, how to live my life, etc., etc. And in all of them, I noticed that a heavy participant was always my state of mind, my emotional state of mind. And the emotional state of mind in itself is obviously influenced at the same time by your physical and your social situation. So conditions, conditions, conditions. I always tell my students, all conditions influence in everything we do. So yeah, there was a time that was pretty much really, how can I say this? Self-depreciating in many different reasons. And for example, I used to smoke too much cigarettes. I used to smoke too much, too much, too much, and that was affecting my throat. And I needed one excuse to come out of it, and I took the very first excuse that I had. But in reality, it was because when I took on the habit of smoking, it was basically because I did not really appreciate myself as I needed to. And sometimes that happens, depending on the conditions that you're living. You can go through situations like this. And really good example, it will be the protagonist, the main character of a novel that all of you should read once in your life. That is called Raskolnikov. That's the name of the guy from Crime and Punishment of Dostoevsky. So check that out. That'll be really really cool for you guys, especially your age. The protagonist lives through crazy stuff, really really crazy stuff, and took really awful decisions and had to pay the consequences of that. But the whole process, you guys need to live it. And I sort of lived that. I went through different emotional stages, really high, really low. And those stages made me have different philosophies of life. Today, my philosophy of life is basically think carefully your next steps. I'm in that situation. Like, I enjoy my life, but I'm constantly thinking my next steps. And that has made me more aware of everything that is happening around me, because I am beginning to appreciate the skills and the set of skills that I am having on my disposal to do anything that I can in order to improve my conditions. And if I have to compare my current conditions to what they were in the past, yeah, I've come a long, long way. Come really long way. So yeah, I guess that my philosophy of life is that think ahead, think ahead, your next steps. Kind of like chess. If you play chess, you always need to be thinking ahead your next steps. Otherwise, you lose. All right, guys. Let's see. I got a question here. If let's see, Pedro Infante. Oh my God, my friend Pedro. Oh, before that, there was no, that was Pedro. When do kids become fulfilled fledged adults? Hi. When do kids become fulfilled adults? That's a great question. I am still a kid. So that's a difficult one, man. Look, yes, when we're speaking about maturing, we need to consider different situations in life, kind of like what I was explaining just before. For instance, a very indication of adulthood is simply if you are capable of moving on your own feet. And what do I mean by moving on your own feet? I'm not saying that the moment you have your own house, not really. Moving on your own feet is means that you're capable of producing enough energy for yourself. Energy comes from money, from work, from creativity, etc., etc. That allows you to move. That you can take a decision of saying, okay, I'm gonna live on my own, or I'm gonna live with my girlfriend, or I'm gonna get married, or I'm gonna leave to another country, or I'm gonna begin a business, etc., 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 etc. That moment that you take a decision of moving on your own, getting out of your comfort zone, and being out there and seeing reality on your own. That is the first sign of maturity. Now, the second sign is when you begin enjoying what you do, and that possibly doesn't take short from the moment you begin moving to the moment you begin enjoying yourself. Some people are fortunate to, begin enjoying everything they do at the very beginning. But in general senses, it requires effort, and this effort normally implies suffering for some reason or another. You need to struggle with life. Why? Because life is not easy. We all know that. Some people have it easier, but that doesn't really mean that all things are easy. Even the people that have it easier, they struggle with stuff. All the time that we see the news, we see things that are happening all around the world that, oh my God, we're fortunate. I'm fortunate to be capable of doing this for hobbies. Imagine this. I'm paying for some electricity, a good sort of camera. I got a good, comfortable coach, and I got a great producer next to me. And we all doing this for fun. There are people right now that cannot go across the street of their houses because the rain is coming down heavy on them, and the street in front of their houses just went off, and there's just a river. And possibly these people have been incommunicated for hours, maybe days. They have no chance of access to food, electricity, or services. And this is happening in many a country because global warming. We all know that. The situation is serious, but people still don't take it that seriously until you leave that. So if you're capable of crossing the street of your house, consider yourself fortunate. But again, going back to what I was saying before, the moment that you're capable of enjoying what you do, yes, that's the second aspect of maturity. And you can have children by that time and still not really enjoy what you do. That happens a lot. You need to enjoy what you do. Otherwise, you bring to the world too much negativity, stress, and other stuff that other people don't really require of you. You know, try to avoid being nocive or being malign to people around you, and that will be the next step, right? That's when you're growing old. When you try not to be a bastard, avoid being a bastard, people. That's the best advice I can tell you. Because sometimes you do that. In fact, when you have a lot of energy, especially at your age, sometimes you can be or act like a bastard to people. And you know what I mean? Like acting like a bastard, right? Sometimes you do. We got Daniel Rodriguez. What? Daniel, what's up, my friend? How's it going? Please grant us a question. Whatever question you have for us, please. It will be cool. So, again, the older you get, the more worry you become about stuff. And somehow that softens you emotionally. But when you're young, when you're strong, when you think that you can do everything, sometimes you, again, try to reach your will or make your will come through no matter what. And that sometimes implies stepping on other people's desires. There's this point that's really cool about, I laid my dreams in front of you, so tread carefully because you're stepping on my dreams. That's very heavy. I always like that point. I'm not saying it exactly how it goes, but that's sort of how it is. All right, let's see. Any other question? No, for now, I don't have a question just yet. So continuing the story of me in my very first year of university. So after a full year passed, I began to take tests in different universities because that's in my country how you enter university. You have to take a test in whatever university you want to opt for, and depending on the faculty you want to study, you have to take a specific type of test. If you approve, well, normally you approve considering the quantity of people that are they are accepting in that particular year. Sometimes there are 200 people taking the test and they're only accepting 30. I'm probably very far off with the numbers. Possibly the numbers were really, really big in comparison. Over, way over. What? I have Mr. Ayman. Mr. Ayman, hello, sir. If you have a question, please. And I got Mr. Gustavo. Gustavo, sir. Please, if you have a question, shoot. Daniela has a question. Nice, Daniela. Well, speaking about Pedro, thank you for that question, Pedro. I hope that I sort of answered that. Let's see. Daniela says, what do you think is the meaning of life? Oh my God. Your questions. The meaning of life. There are different sources that you can get that allow you to consider what is the meaning of life. Um, I always strongly recommend the ones that are the existentialists because obviously, come on, the meaning of life for an existentialist is the whole deal of what they work on all their lives, academic lives. And the best ones I can recommend is Martin Heidegger. Martin Heidegger used to say that life for us, for humans, is time. And if it is true, think about this. You are alive the moment you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes. You open your eyes, you begin living. If you focus in what's happening 2 days from the moment that you open your eyes, you miss a lot of what you are doing at the moment. Many people have terrible lives because they're constantly projecting themselves into the future and they never really live the present. But other people have terrible lives because they only present, only present, only present, only fun, fun, fun. And then they begin having the terrible consequences of not preventing. So you see, there is a balance between what you have and what you will have or will have to lose for some reason. That is the case of the meaning of life. The meaning of life is knowing how to live. Every person has a different way. All of you, need to have your own experiences. However, it is unwise to pretend to live your life without not seeing the examples of the people around you. So many different examples. So many different people do it fine, or some other people are not doing it fine. Some people are doing it terrible. And you have to understand that. You're not gonna be Hitler. Speaking about the first topic. At the same time, you're not gonna be Raskolnikov. I mean, come on. You guys will require to use obviously prudence, our first value. You remember that one, that conversation? Prudence. Yes, and prudence is all about, pondering your conditions. What do I have? What can I do with it? What do I want? Ask yourself the questions. What do you want? And then ask yourself the question, can you get it? What are the possibilities? That helps. Danny says, of course, I ask questions. What was your first university? My first university, well, the first university I was accepted on was the university, the Catholic University of Caracas, Venezuela. And I didn't have money to go there. So, no. And I afterwards, I was looking at the other options, and I found out that I got accepted in the Central University of Caracas, Venezuela, that at the time was considered one of the top universities in Latin America. Political issues and other situations have put the university in not the best spot right now, but at the time, I mean, if you were coming from the UCB, your CV had priority upon any other. Uh, when you have to compare other people graduated from any other university, no matter if they graduated from the most expensive universities in my country, still my degree coming from my university was considered top priority. So that is UCB. And my major was in the area of philosophy, practice philosophy. So yeah, that's my biggest challenge life yet so far. Well, the other challenge is the one that I have now, which is surviving. No, I'm just kidding. It's not surviving. It's building up a future, and that's a difficult one too. It's a challenge building up a future, people, to consider your plans ahead and see how they come to fruition. To see basically how they might deviate from what you considered before, and you need to push to one side or to the other, sometimes sacrificing stuff in order for making the plan happening. But I think, going on that previous question that I received before about my philosophy of life, I think that I needed to really enjoy both things, aspects of my life, the aspects of what I live at the moment and the aspects of what I want to live. At the end, that's what your life is. Danny says, another question. Okay, another question. What do you think of the people of Ecuador? What complaints of other people in Ecuador that celebrates Halloween, even if it's not from Ecuador, is uh, the tradition of the USA. Well, that's true. That's true. Miguel. Oh my God, Miguel is here. Okay, great question. Great question. But I don't think this is a situation that is definitely a problem of Ecuador. I think this is a situation that is a problem of the whole world today. Like the whole world in itself has an issue, and the issue is the media. The media in itself is controlled by group of people that basically live in one country, and of course that main country is the one that projects their ways of seeing life everywhere else. If that happens, obviously most people begin adapting cultural things, and that's what some sort of you call that cultural appropriation. Christmas is the same. I mean, come on, there was a time that there was no Christmas in many countries of Asia. Now everybody knows Christmas. So of course, if Christmas caught on, many other things have been in the same process of being catching on depending on trend. Halloween is that one too. And apart from that, there's a lot of marketing behind Halloween. So of course, people will be driven to like or enjoy um, these sort of things. But then again, you speak about your own culture and you say, am I losing my culture because I'm adopting someone else's? You're constantly losing your culture. I'm really sorry. I mean, come on. Ecuador of the 1920s is not Ecuador of the 1960s. It's not Ecuador of the 1980s. It's not Ecuador of today. In fact, when I got to I came here to Ecuador in 2016. Young people back then were totally different than young people today. And I'm totally 100% convinced of it, because I know most of the kids that are speaking to me right now in that situation. That back then, I was graduating those guys, the third batch back then. And believe me, they didn't have the same way of seeing life. I'm not saying they were better or worse. I'm just saying that their way of seeing life was totally different. So as long as your conditions are different, your view of life can change. But you see, after a time, you will come to think or appreciate your own conclusions. That's what experience tells you. So I prefer not to generalize by saying there are some Ecuadorians that are like this and some Ecuadorians that are like that. No, I guess every person has it depending on the age, basically, that they live in. Young people are a little bit that way, sort of. Anyway, let's see. I got one question here that probably missed. Who was the question? It was from Miguel. No, it was from Danny again. Danny said, "But why do you celebrate Christmas even if it is not from Ecuador? It is still from the USA. What is your opinion about that?" Well, I think I kind of said that. There are cultural things that we appreciate. They they catch on. We catch on to those things, and we have a lot of interest in those things because I mean there are reasons why it catches on. Think about Christmas. Christmas whole ordeal is celebrating with your family, and who doesn't want to celebrate with the family? In fact, there are countries that celebrating with the families in Christmas is so ritualistic that you will be surprised. For example, in my country, they did in a time that was so heavy the celebrations about Christmas that it was so annoying too. You had Christmas music, Christmas decoration, Christmas music, Christmas reunions, Christmas meetings. There was a week, every week after every week of Christmas, there was something special for that weekend. It was incredible, and sometimes overbearing. So, yeah, there are countries that are really into it, even though they're not the USA. Miguel has a question here. He says, Mister, just came from YouTube. What would you think what would you think would be small ways to make the world better place? Oh, great question. Well, definitely. That's definitely true, Miguel. That's some of the best ones. Well, these kids are gonna be enjoying that thing in a few years. I hope not just now. You guys still don't need to drink too much beer anyway. You're too young. Now, consider the question of Mr. Miguel. Okay. When we think about how we can improve the world, the very first thing that we need to see is uh, again the conditions that we deal with. Um, what things we're holding on about the world that can add up to the bad thing of the world or the good thing of the world. Politics is obviously not a solution because everybody knows that modern politics is all about popularity, the whole idea of who gets what, the quantity of people that are really dealing or sometimes even influencing people's opinion on one direction or another. But once whoever takes power, their agenda is pretty much their party agenda. So politics not really the best option when it comes to get involved into making things better. However, there are things that as a regular citizen you can do that do not have to do necessarily with politics, though they might move politics in a way. And that is again adding up to what's good instead of adding up to what's bad. Example, let's say that you are part of a group that are in charge of replanting trees around the city. That's great. That's great. Let's say that you are part of a group that are trying to rescue wild animals in the city. That's incredibly well. Let's say that you're part of a group that really supervises that recycling is handled well, because as we know, that's the problem of recycling, the supervision that things get to the things that to the places that they need to get, and so on with so many different things. Let's say that you don't have the time, but you can use the short time that you don't have on investing it in stuff that is beneficial. Like again, let's say you share with people literature, you read with people, you have a reading group. That's great. That's incredibly well. And it's so beneficial for other people. Let's say that you play a sport with them, or maybe a game. Let's say that you, I don't know, help your neighbor's child with their homework. Whatever you can do that is beneficial for someone else beyond you yourself is obviously making the world better. The news are constantly there to warn you that the world is awful and is going to. In fact, apocalypses have been written for years and years and years. There's so many, in fact, so many as many different religions. Speaking about the world that is going to end in a disaster again is something that is being far coming, long far coming. So I think that the focus should not be really there, though we can do something about it. But the focus should be mainly in not being a bastard. Try not to be terrible with other people. Try to do the best that you can do for your own and for the people that you care. And if you do it honestly, because I mean, I guess the drug cartels try to take care of their people, but they do a lot of bad. So if you do a lot of bad just because you're saying that you're beneficial to a group of people, I mean, come on. You have to be honest with your own morality and even sense of what's good and what's bad. Miguel says, "What is your current opinion of Guayaquil from when I told you about it and from now?" Nice question. All right, Miguel. Look, back then you said that you didn't like certain things about Guayaquil, but I guess obviously you had been out of Guayaquil for a while, and there's certain things that did change, though others remain the same. I think that I experienced Guayaquil from the perspective of the people that I hang out the most, and they are the young people. And as it is with them, I get to see stuff from Guayaquil that is a little bit better than other stuff. There are places of Guayaquil that I don't know, man. And it's not that I'm flying, I'm running away from those places. It's just that I never really see myself in the necessity of passing through places like those. So why should I? Um, of course, I have come to enjoy and love certain aspects of the city that you never mentioned. Like some people possibly don't know. I am a biker and I love biking, obviously. And depending on the hour of the day, the sky of Guayaquil takes certain type of colors, and the sun and the composition of clouds in Guayaquil make it such a way that it seems that you're actually watching at paintings. And I love that. Sometimes, obviously, the heat is overbearing, but it's mostly at night in your winter. I never really got those names. The winter is hot and the summer is cold. Anyway, but that per se, I love it about this country, and I love the green. I love the green of this country. It's incredible. Everything grows in this country, no matter where you are. Here in Guayaquil, in Loja, in Quito, it's just green. It's beautiful. Of course, difficult for me have been hanging out with people my age because people my age are dealing with stuff that I'm not dealing with at the moment. Like for example, having children on my own. I still don't have them. And I guess when I do, I will be so busy that I will not be able to do this type of things. So I'm capable of doing this type of things because I don't have kids right now. So hey, take advantage of me for now. So yeah, I think that I get those aspects of the city right now in comparison to the past. Some places downtown have been washed up and they look cleaner now. For you to know, and they are pretty beautiful. We were the other day into this street. I don't remember exactly the name of the street.
Cacao Museum.
Is near the Cacao Museum. Oh man, the some of the restaurants there was a pizza place that was incredible. And the price, oh my God, if people knew the price about that pizza, oh, it would be, there would not be possible to keep the same price for sure. So I'm not gonna say the name of the pizza place anymore. Okay, let's see. I got another question. No, I don't have another question. So let's begin to get to the conclusion of tonight. It was very productive. I didn't know, I didn't think that we could actually go so far with the questions, a few questions that you asked me. Uh, you made me speak a lot. Anyway, as I said before, this is mostly a hobby on our side because we don't have an objective of making precisely money out of this. We are using this as a service that we, A-lètheia, are giving to people that we know, and maybe people that want to know us too. As we said before, we are language consultancy agency, and we deal with the both languages issues, Spanish and English, and obviously the in between. So people that want to learn how to write in English, how to read in English, how to listen well in English, etc., etc. That's if you are interested in that, you can contact us. But this place is open for you guys to simply explore different forms of thinking. As I said before, two heads think better than one. So hey, anything that I did and said today that could help you, I'm really glad. In remember that the next session that we're having, not the next live, we are gonna have a next live next week, but that one's gonna be about a topic, okay, that we're gonna be developing. But the next session Q&A is the following week, the week of. Let me confirm right away. The week of the uh, not the 4th, but the 11th. The no, sorry, yes, the 11th, Friday, 11th of um, November. So, people, you guys now know when to find us live, and prepare your questions. Who knows? Maybe for that day, it will be really cool. And for all the other people that are interested in following us, we have again YouTube, we have Instagram, both channels. We also have Facebook, also A-lètheia. So we're glad that we're here to serve in any good for you guys. Right? Have a great one. Let's see. Bye bye to everyone, and thank you for attending. Teacher, what is your concept about talent? Oh, Mr. Espinosa, just when I was saying goodbye. Well, I'm gonna answer that one because obviously you had that pen. Talent. I guess a talent is that sort of thing that you Pedro. Awesome. Talent is that sort of thing that you don't need to, let's say, it's that sort of thing that you do pretty much spontaneously. Right? Like, for example, if you see a ball and you're capable of lifting the ball and controlling the ball with that foot in the first try, well, you got a talent for playing football. Same situation. If you are capable of seeing how the ball comes to you in a tennis court and all the different aspects, you, even though you don't move fast enough at the moment, but you have the skill for playing tennis because of that particular skill that you have, talent that you have with your eyes. So again, anything, anything in itself that it goes spontaneous for you is obviously a talent. For that reason, talents are not only something that you are born with, but there are things that you actually learn. You see, let me put it like this. Imagine yourself like an android. As an android, you basically have an operating system that is prone to have a specific set of apps. Those apps work perfectly for you. But there are some apps that, let's say, don't run perfectly for you. You can delete those apps if you want to, or simply just locate them in a different part of your memory and then include new apps that you can be better at. Depending on the quantity of time and effort that you dedicate to some of those, some will give you the best results. Others never get to develop because you did not really have the support to get this or navigate through this app. That's how you have the idea of talents. So maybe you might think that you struggle with one thing right now, but you see, if you keep on investing your time to analyze that, check that, try that, force yourself into consider that different manners or forms, there will be a moment that you will grasp that and maybe even get better at that. It all depends on what you want. And with that, we're going. Oh yes, yes. How's your life and cat? My cat is around somewhere around there. My wife is my producer, and she's awesome like always. She's looking at me like I'm hungry. So yeah, and yes, the cats, they are the owners of the cat of the house. They are the owners of everything that is on the floor. And my cat is constantly asking me for um, tasks. Ivan, hi, mister. How will you mend a great mistake? Wow, these questions are heavy, coming exactly when we're leaving. Men have made a great mistake. Okay, using the same quote of a book that I said before, Crime and Punishment, that story actually explains about how, after the great mistake, there had to be a punishment. And in the way in which it explains it is like there's no way you can escape the punishment. And you have to go through the punishment to really understand the ordeal that you are, your actions, and actually consider a possible future. And I guess that's the principle of mending a terrible mistake. Firstly, you need to consider the consequences. And when you consider the consequences well, only then is when you can begin thinking about a future after the consequence. No worries, my friend. Thank you. So that consequence after the uh, the great mistake. So you got all the consequences. Now, what would your life be? Let's say you had a problem with a person. That problem made that relationship be in danger or even reach a breach. Well, you're gonna have to find yourself living with that type of consequence. Obviously, you try to make amends on the part that belongs to you. If you need to apologize, do that. If you need to amend on some other different things as a compensation because that's what it required, well, you do that. Your part is the part that you only need to care for. You don't care for the part of the other person. That part is gonna come in the moment that it comes. But amending things is firstly grasping the pieces, the broken pieces of what you had before, and see what you can do with that. And that's it. That's about it. Thank you, people, for being here. Thank you for your patience and thank you for your appreciation because I noticed that the fact that you guys were here, you are showing an appreciation I never really thought was possible in all these years because honestly, I never really learned how to deal with these sort of things as the online persona. And suddenly I have an online persona. So thank you guys. Thank you. Me and the producer, we send you our love and we hope to see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye, people. So this one closes if I click on here. Yes. Bye bye there. And this one closes when I click on here. Bye bye, people.